Boobs, zonkers, headlights, watermelons, sweater puppies, pointers, knockers, jugs, tatas. These are just some of the silly and sometimes derogatory words used to describe a woman's breasts. With us today to discuss what is definitely the #1 symbol of American female sexuality are two obvious experts, Hollywood sex symbols Angelyne and Edie Williams. Author and philosopher Erica Jong is also here to try to make sense of our breast obsession. Women and their breasts, from the bodacious to the barely there. Angelyne calls herself part of the Hollywood landscape. She is most famous for the 85 by 44-foot painted mural of herself that adorns the side of a building on the corner of Hollywood and Vine. Her previous claim to fame, in case you've never been to Los Angeles, was a billboard with her name and a phone number that was on Sunset Boulevard. Angelyne, when men come up to you, what's the first thing they look at?
Well, you know, they look at my chest, but then they make their way up to my lips and then my eyes.
And how do you feel about the fact that they don't make instant eye contact, that they have to work their way up?
Well, they just can't help it. I understand.
Yeah, I'm curious about something. I know about the billboards and everything, and, you know, spending so much of my life out there, I obviously have noticed them. But what is it you do exactly?
Well, actually, I'm very talented. I sing, I dance, I can act, but it's so much fun being famous for nothing that I don't really want to, really. People come up to me all the time. What do you do? What do you do? So, figure it out.
Well, it must be your mind. It must be. But I was just wondering how big are you? I mean, what's your measurements?
If you want to know that, you'll have to come all the way to Hollywood and measure me.
You'd like that, wouldn't you? I live pretty close to it.
I might run a lot faster than you could get here.
Well,
but we could give it a try.
Yeah, I think I was interested only in an academic sense. Men are so obviously fascinated with Edie Williams in her movies, or even Angelyne in your billboards. Are men fascinated by you, Angelyne?
You know they are.
I think
now,
they like
is the mind,
toys.
or Edie, let me ask you, is your mind your most active erogenous zone, as Erica says?
My mind?
Yeah.
Well, my thoughts, it starts there, but then, you know, when you have something soft and curvy for someone to play with, that adds a lot to it. Because men are so angular and square, and women, you know, they're round and curvaceous, and I think that's the attraction, and they like something feminine and soft and curvy and things that stick out, you know? And
can you
I'm
base
getting more
a
than I bargained for
relationship
from
on
the
it?
coast. The breast obsession, that's the focus today. Angelyne, how old were you when you noticed that you were, evolving into a well-endowed creature or a person?
12.
Now, how did you?
Well, I had to start
deal with
early.
it? Yeah, how'd you deal with it? Or how did you have any bad experiences?
Well, it was mostly fun, but you know how guys are.
Even at the age of 12?
Mm-hmm. I kissed a guy when I was 12 years old. But that's, you know what I was going to tell you? It's not just men that are obsessed with it, but I think women like them too.
Well, tell me more about that.
Well, I like to look at women that have large breasts. It turns me on to think about my body being turned on by a man. It's sort of a strange psychological thing that I have.
Yeah, it is. I was trying to follow it there, but I think you lost me one.
I know. Well, that's why I'm different.
Yeah. Have either of you had, kind of artificial help in building up your breast size?
No.
You've never had an implant, Angelyne, or anything like that?
No.
I mean, not everybody has to look alike.
Good, Angelyne.
There are beautiful women in this audience who are over the age of 60, and they want to feel good about themselves too. And somebody likes to cuddle them in bed at night too. I mean, I think this is a tyranny for women in this culture.
She's right about what she's saying, but we should still look forward to high technology. We're making progress. Well, it's true. I want you to ask me something.
Oh, okay. I was just wondering if you believe in the Desmond Morrison theory and the naked ape, or if you
You
believe...
mean Darwin?
Darwin, let me, or here comes the question.
Wait,
Here comes the question.
Geraldo,
Yes.
ask me a question.
Okay, I'm going to ask you...
No, wait. Ask me, what do I use my breasts for?
Are you going to go for it?
Angelyne, what do you use your breast for?
Isn't it obvious that I'm teasing the camera?
Yeah. I got
use
set
them
up for that one. Yeah.
teasing.
Big-breasted women are awkward, cumbersome, and artificial. The sexiest thing in any woman is a mind because they know what to do with the rest.
So how would you react if you saw Angelyne?
They look like they're in proportion to the rest of her body.
All right, sit down. Yeah,
Breasts are for babies. And they were designed to function for babies, and breasts are also for women because they feel good. They're sexually stimulating. And the fact that they're sexually stimulating meant that when you nurse a baby, you feel good, and it gets you connected to that baby. Nature designed it so that sucking feels good to the baby, he or she likes to do it, and nursing feels good to the woman because her breasts are sensitive. That's what breasts are for.
I totally disagree.
I disagree, too.
You
Totally
disagree with the
disagree,
tat
yes.
for tot syndrome, then?
No.
Both disagree.
Okay,
I
you
think-
first, Angelyne.
I think women tantalize men with their breasts, and women's bodies are not for men's pleasure, but they're also for women's pleasure, because if a woman tantalizes a man enough, he will reciprocate. You know what I mean? Ooh.